Peace, family.
Now, if y'all was paying attention
Let me turn this off real quick. Let's have some enjoyment. Peace. My name is Tommie Muhammad. Welcome to T.A.L.W.U, which stands for Take Another Look with Us. And you can also follow us on Instagram at T.A.L.W.U Media. That's T.A.L.W.U Media on Instagram, or my personal page, which is at Brotgo, Brotgo on Instagram. Also, you can follow me, and I encourage you to follow us on T.A.L.W.U Media on Facebook. All right. So today, what I'd like to talk about is a concept that I've been discussing. I don't think I could coin the phrase. I've heard it before. I think just in joking language, but it's a concept I'm discussing to summarize or to identify a theology, a set of beliefs, a religion that I call the nigga religion. That's right, the nigga religion. So you say, how could nigga be a religion? See, you can kind of get what I'm talking about already if you're familiar with the culture and how it's degenerated down to activities and that's on the level of what we call nigga. And if you've seen the Boondocks produced by the great Aaron Magruder, you know what a nigga moment is. Let's show a clip from that real quick. Let me pull that up on YouTube, and then I'll get into the discussion on explaining when you hear the phraseology, the nigga religion. I think the nigga religion is the culprit behind a lot of different manifestations in terms of the psychosis that explains a lot of the unexplainable in terms of the behaviors, the self-destructive behaviors we have, sometimes laziness, shiftlessness. And I'll have you know that when I say nigga, I'm not just talking about a melanated skinned person. I'm talking about the etymology of the word nigga, which comes from Negro, and the word Negro comes from the Latin root necro, and Greek root as well, necro, which means dead or dead person. So this is the root of the word. So it describes a person's mental and spiritual condition, and that for the word can be applied to any person that is in that condition. So let's take a look real quick at what a nigga moment is. Let's pull it up. I got my screen behind me. Let's see if we can get that going. I got it on the screen. And it's really funny, but it's not so funny in truth because
a nigga moment is the mind of
because we've seen a lot of things happen. And as you know, most of you know that I lost my son recently to my 19-year-old autistic son who was nonverbal, was killed by a neighbor of mine, shot up to 20 times because it was a moment just like what you're going to see here. And let's watch this first and I'll get into that.
Watch where you walking, nigga. What you say, nigga?
Watch closely. You're about to experience a nigga moment. Webster defines the nigga moment as a moment when ignorance overwhelms the mind of an otherwise logical Negro man.
What did you say, bitch, nigga? Hey, squeeze it, nigga.
Causing him to act in an illogical, self-destructive manner, i.e., like a nigga. Nigga moments are unpredictable.
Hey, wait, man, wait. This is stupid. Hey, you right, dog. Look, let's put the guns away and go on about our business. Freeze!
But they all end up bad. If they had their own category, nigga moments would be the third leading killer of black men behind pork chops and FEMA. It's a fact. Now let's see how a nigga moment affects a white man.
Watch where you walking, bitch. What did you... Wait a minute. I'm white. Where you going? Don't you ignore me. This is a perfectly good moment to throw your life away.
Hilarious. So,
Come on, Rick. We're almost there.
all right. So, what did you see there? What did you see there? In the first scene, you saw two black men pass each other, step on their shoes. One stepped on the shoe of the other, and the other one got just lit. And something really simple and trivial became a life and death situation. And this is what we call a nigga moment, according to Aaron Magruder. But we've observed this phenomenon in life many, many times over. And so I like to go a little bit deeper with it. I like to go all the way back to the root of it, okay? Because evidently, when you saw here the two brothers stop and look at each other and then use the harshest language they could to bring attention to something that was just a simple mistake. You just accidentally stepped on the shoe. What we saw was a person acting other than what was human. See, when we go into a nigga moment, we're not acting as humans. At least we don't see a melanated person as human in the midst of a nigga moment. And everyone don't respond the same. You notice in the second scene, they showed the white guy. He was almost got mad at first. Then he said, I'm white. And he just started sipping his coffee and walked off. And then the brother was like, hey, this is a perfectly good opportunity to throw your life away. That's ridiculous. But what I want to do is go into the definition. And let's look at the psychology. And then let's look at why I'm calling it a religion. Okay, first, let's to give some definitions. The word nigger comes from the word Negro. And as I broke down, Negro comes from the etymological root necro, Latin word, which means dead or dead person. Then let's define the word religion. And then we'll see, is there such a religion? What is the religion of the dead? What is the religion of dead people? And see, there is a historical ancient religion of the dead in ancient Kemet, and also in other ancient parts of the world during ancient cultures, where we had a religion where we acknowledged our ancestors and we incorporated them in our daily lives. But that's not the type of religion I'm talking about. When I say the dead, I'm talking about living people who are mentally and spiritually dead. With the ancestral science, that's dealing with people who are no longer living in this realm, but they live in the ancestral realm. All right. And so there's a difference. So when I say the nigga religion in reference to a people who are spiritually and mentally dead, I'm definitely talking about those who are physically alive, but mentally and spiritually dead, as indicated in this hilarious scene and legendary scene on the Boondocks. So we got the definition of Negro and its etymology. So let's look at the definition of religion. I'm going to pull it up. My layman's language or layman's terms, when I say religion, and what we really mean when we say religion is not what people claim or what they say or what they call themselves. Really, in truth, religion is what we do. Religion is what we do. It's not what you claim. Here's an example. The Ku Klux Klan claimed to be Christians and follow the Christian religion, which is following Christ. But when they're lynching black people in the middle of the night for doing nothing, is that an act that demonstrates a behavior that Christ would do? Is that following an example of Jesus Christ? Not the one that we read about anyway. Maybe they have another one that's in another book or something. But the one described in the Bible, that kind of behavior, you couldn't associate that with him. And behaviors and religion have an association. Doesn't mean that all of us, all Christians, are righteous. Now let's take the example to Muslims, because I know some of y'all who are maybe Christian may get sensitive. So let me get off the Christians. Let me talk about my people. I'm Muslim. Okay. As a Muslim, some of us do crime, and let's say, for example, those who are very extreme, who engage in acts of terror, blowing things up, blowing people up, abusing women, all this crazy stuff, burying their daughters, all this crazy stuff, which has nothing to do with Islam, although they call themselves Muslim. Prophet Muhammad didn't do none of this stuff that they're doing. You know, killing innocent people is haram. Killing your daughters and burying your daughters and abusing your daughters, uneducating your daughters is haram. This has nothing to do with Islam, not the Islam described in the Holy Quran. But people claim the religion. Even if you're so-called Hebrew or Jewish, there are people who claim to be Jewish, but in the state of Israel, they did a poll. I read Time magazine not long ago, and that was quite a while ago, but a good 65 to 70% of the people in Israel were atheists. So they don't believe in the prophets, and they don't follow them either, because the law they follow, a Jew follows the covenant of the Old Testament, but some of them are doing all the crimes, and they say out their mouth that they don't even follow the religion. They're just culturally Hebrew or culturally Jews. So we can claim a thing, but not be that. We can claim to be a Muslim, but if we don't follow the teachings and practices of Prophet Muhammad, we're not Muslim in terms of by faith. We might be by nature, and that's a different discussion, and I'll get into that. So, but we can definitely see the example with Christianity. A Ku Klux Klanman can claim to be a Christian all day, but out there lynching black people and Jews and other people for doing whatever, that's not the ways of Christ. So I got into that before I got to the definition of religion. Let's look into the religion definition. Okay, here's a couple definitions. All right. Okay. Oh, I look crazy. I better read it. Well, I'm pulling this off of this is off of the Google. Just a basic. It was out the Oxford Dictionary. It says religion, the belief in and worship of a superhuman controlling power, especially a personal god or gods. Superhuman meaning super means above or superior to, and then human, which is man or woman. That's one definition. Religion, a particular system of faith and worship. That's the definition I think I'm looking for the context that we're going to discuss this. That the nigga religion is a particular system of faith and worship. And I'm going to show you where in the nigga religion, there are acts of devotion and there's acts of worship in that religion. Also, a pursuit or interest to which someone ascribes supreme importance. Now, we definitely see this definition in the nigga religion. We see this carried out in the activities of niggas or people who are spiritually and mentally dead. It said a pursuit or interest to which someone ascribes supreme importance. For example, one of the deities, every religion has deities, or at least it's implied. That's what superhuman. Every religion has acts of devotion and a set of beliefs. I mean, there's some knowledge too. You might know some things, but there's a part in it where you have you have faith and you believe in something. And so the psychosis that we see displayed, like in what we saw here, and like the psychosis that was displayed in the murder of my son over nothing, was clearly based on a set of beliefs. And this is why I'm calling it a religion, because it's a system. See, the system of white supremacy has the flip side to that same coin, which is black inferiority. And our people suffer from it greatly. But we aren't the only ones. White supremacy causes whites, Asians, Hispanics, and others to suffer from that same psychosis. But it's a set of beliefs. It's a belief system. And what is the components of such a belief system? What are the tenets of that faith of the nigga religion? Well, one of the big tenets of faith is melanated people don't have much worth. That if you shoot or kill one, that life is not worth even snitching or telling, or there's no rally or outcry if it's a black on black crime, only when the cop kills a black person. Or black people will slaughter each other all day, every day, but the people who enslaved us and put us in this condition, or even the senators and congressmen and women who create legislation that incarcerate us, we don't have any records of major acts of violence against those types of folks or anybody for that matter. Most of our acts of violence on a daily basis is against people who look like us. One of the major tenets of faith in the nigger religion is self-destruction, self-hate, self-negation, victimizing. A person who practices the nigger religion tends to victimize and put blame on others instead of taking full responsibility. In fact, practitioners in the nigger religion run from responsibility. It's as though it was kryptonite and you were Superman when it comes to responsibility. But I want to separate the condition of the person, separate the condition from the person. Okay, I love my people and I love all people who are righteous, no matter what their race is. I love all people who love God, and those are the people that God loves, right? But if you wicked, right, it's hard. I can't really love you because you alienated yourself from us and you separated yourself from God. So let's go into the root of the word nigga and how you can find it in the scripture in terms of the mentality and the description and the phenomenon that I'm describing is right there in the Bible in the book of Genesis. You see the beginning of the nigger religion. See, I think that God only recognizes two religions. Okay. One is obedience to him. That's the only religion he recognizes. The other religion, he recognizes the other one. The other religion is to rebel against his will. One religion is obedience to his will or submission to his will, and the other religion is rebellion to his will. The Bible say, "Thus saith the Lord." In the Holy Quran, it's submission, obedience. So, and when you really look at it, everyone in the world can be found at different moments in their progression in life, oscillating between these two religions. There's time when we're obedient and righteous, and there's times when we are not. And the humble of us and the honest of us among us will will be honest and admit this. And then those of us whose heart is a lot of arrogance and pride, they'll say, "Not me. I'm just righteous. I do right all the time. I don't have no mistake. I'm flawless. I'm all that. I'm a good guy. I go to church. I pay my tithes. I go to the mosque. I pay my zakat. I'm holy." And that's you niggas. That's the vein and really to distort it, because the truth is we all have some kind of flaw and we have difficulties. But patterns over time produce an identity, or I would say a religion that we can identify with. So you can be a righteous person and fall short every now and not be of the nigga religion, or vice versa. You can be a person who is a practitioner and a devout follower, or even a sympathizer of the nigga religion, and do righteous acts sometimes. So, but let me get to it. All right, in the Bible, the book of Genesis, you read where, let me just read it verbatim so y'all won't say I added, messing it up. I'm going to find real quick in the Bible where God makes Adam, and in his making of Adam, he tells him, he threatens him, he warns him actually, that if you were to eat from this forbidden fruit, you will die. You will surely die, he said. You will surely die. And so Adam, what's going on here? Oh yeah, I'm trying to repost it. Let me post this out. If y'all on here, share and like. Share and like. So we can build this up. This is a new community I'm building, the T.A.L.W.U media. And just getting it popping, man. Well, hold on. I'm going to get back on my topic. Let me just share this real quick, family. Story, feed, news feed, public. Okay. So I'm going to get better at this. And y'all work with me. Lean with me. Rock with me. So, okay, let me share it on so many apps. Let me share it on Instagram too. Yeah, y'all come on in. Let me pause right here, family. Trying to get some more people here. Let's advertise this a little bit. Let's promote it a little bit. But I'm still explaining the nigga religion. So let's go on Instagram. 1 second here, family. Okay. Then I'm gonna look up the definition. Or I might just get my Bible. Okay, let's see here. But I'm gonna pull it up. But what I was gonna talk about is in the story when God was making Adam, he warned him that if you take of this tree, which is the forbidden fruit, as we describe it, they don't necessarily say that in the scripture, but this is how people depict it. They say Adam ate from an apple. And when he did, it was the forbidden tree. God told him you can take part of any of these trees in the garden of Eden, but not this one. And if you do, you will surely die. Satan comes up in the form of a snake. And we can break that down. Really, Satan or this snake is the lower nature within man. But Satan slithers up out of the tree and whispers and say, "Oh man, go ahead. You can eat of that. You ain't gonna die. You know, you ain't gonna die. You're gonna die." But he didn't explain. He explained to Adam that he wasn't talking about a physical death. So God wasn't talking about a physical death per se. He was talking about a mental and spiritual death first. Okay, and then he said after 5,000 years or 6,000 years, he would give him 6,000 years. He was gonna kick him out the garden, and then God was going to come back and straighten things out. So that's where the root of what I'm talking about coming from, is that we have basically a whole religion described right there. And there was a religion of those who obey God's instruction, and there was the religion of those who was bucking God's instruction. You know what I'm saying? And which is, in this case, partaking in the forbidden tree. And so, why tree? When you write knowledge in books is made up of what? Paper. And where does paper come from? From the tree. So really, that tree in the garden could have been an analogy for knowledge or wisdom. You know, some forbidden knowledge that he partake in. So eating the fruit of it is the wisdom or the understanding that comes from consuming that information. So it could be that there was information that Adam was exposed to, a teaching that made him other than his own natural original self. His own natural original self was one who submits and obeys God. God made everything to submit and obey him. But right here, when he took part from this forbidden tree, this is when the separation, and he had to get put out the garden, him and Eve, and he was alienated from God. And this is when you see the first nigga was Adam. Whenever a man is separated or alienated from God or cut off from their root, it's just like when you pick a fruit off a tree. The fruit, while it's on the tree and connected to the tree, is getting life and nutrition from the tree, and it thrives until it gets ripe, too ripe, and then, you know, it's time to pick it. But once you pick the fruit, or if you pick it too early, or even if you pick it up when it's ripe, if you set it on the table, it's going to eventually die because it's no longer connected to its source, and it begins to spoil and rot after a long while. Depending on how the fruit it is. Some fruit can spoil real quick, especially organic. But anyway, the bottom line, the point I'm trying to make is that when something is separated from its source, it becomes dead. And again, what do we say the word nigga means in etymology? It means dead. So God was telling Adam that you're gonna become a nigga. You're gonna die mentally and spiritually if you partake from this information, or you partake from this tree. And that's what happened. That was the first nigga. Now, once that happened, and there's a ample amount of history where we can show where this scripture can relate to the non-original people, the colored people, or the Caucasians, or the people who have been changed or altered from the original state. In our lessons, when we say colored people, we don't mean skin color. We mean people who have been altered, because the word color means to color or change from its original state, its original condition. And really, there is no such thing as race. Let me straighten it out right now. There really isn't no such thing as race. Only in not ultimately. There is temporarily, meaning because a race is something that starts and it finishes. But really, there's just the humanity. But humanity has lived under of many different conditions and under different teachings and different cultures. And because of those things, and because of our geography, and because of certain undertakings that we have engaged in as a human species, we've created the different colors and types of humans. So, according to the teachings of most honorable Elijah Muhammad, there was a grafting process where grafting means to alter or change from its original state. And that it was a man named Yaqub who was teaching this. So this could be a reference to the information that became, that made people mentally and spiritually dead, aka niggas. So I like to say when a lot of these young brothers say, yo, I'm a real nigga, man. I'm like, are you really? You might be a nigga because you don't know who you are. So therefore you're alienated from your own true self. Therefore, you're mentally and spiritually dead. And there's a pathology to that. You didn't do that on your own. That happened via a process. But the Caucasian is the OG nigga. The Caucasian white man is the OG nigga from the perspective of the teaching of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and from the perspective of the Bible making of Adam. That's right. Because it was Adam who was the first mentally and spiritually dead person. See, I want y'all to get y'all out of your head that nigga means black person. No, it's talking about a mentally and spiritually dead person. I know every time I say it, y'all saying, why are you talking about us like that? That's not you. Okay? If you are that, it's because you was made other than yourself. Someone colored your thinking, colored your psychology, colored your mind, and created a psychosis that's responsible for a lot of the devastation in our community. But it's also the same psychosis that caused Hitler to destroy Europe. It's the same psychosis that caused George Bush to launch the Middle East wars. The same psychosis that caused the Contra disputes in the southern hemisphere, South America and Central America. It's the same psychosis that the Hutu and Tutsi in Rwanda killing each other over. It's the psychosis. It is a religion. It is a, what was the definition said? It is a particular system of beliefs. And the belief is that I'm better than you because of whatever. When it came to America, the Caucasians believed that they were better than all the melanated people. And in some cases, amongst themselves, they practiced the nigger religion because certain Caucasians believed they were better than other Caucasians. Look at the history of the Irish in their fight against the English. They had a lot of infighting and wars among themselves, just as we did in Africa. Zulus fought all kind of other tribes. Now, but there was a distinction. I don't want to take away or minimize the unique damage that was done to our people here, our Aboriginal Black people here in the hills of North America. The process that happened here has some unique qualities. So, of all the people who suffer from the nigger religion, I think our people here caught the brunt end of it because it was some unique features that were unprecedented. And and what I mean to say is that never before in the history of the world were people taken from their natural habitat, in part. Now, let me say this as a caveat. There were a lot of Aboriginal people here. A lot of us so-called Black people are actually indigenous people. We're indigenous everywhere, according to the T.A.L.W.U. Elijah Muhammad. Now, Elijah Muhammad never emphasized Africa, although he loved Africa and spoke as a Pan-Africanist. I know some of y'all don't realize that, but I don't know anybody more Pan-African than Elijah Muhammad, because he realized that the so-called African was an original man everywhere. Okay, so Pan meaning in the diaspora. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad described in great detail that beyond Africa, our people, wherever you find us, we are original there. So even if you go to Europe, the first Europeans will look like us. Even if you go to Asia, the first Asians was us. And right here in Hells of North, South, and Central America, we are the Aboriginal people of this land as well. So he didn't emphasize Africa. He acknowledged it, but he didn't emphasize it because he didn't want us to get stuck thinking that that's the only people we have that's on that continent. When the truth is, this is our continent, and some of us are home right here at home. But anyway, that's a whole other topic, and we can talk about that another time. But the bottom line is, those of us who are brought here out of our natural habitat, who were brought in the transatlantic slave trade, and during the transatlantic slave trade, this is the first time where race was actually created and began to identify us as, I guess, the concept of race, along with the theology and a practice of belief. That's why I'm calling it a religion. And as a people, and for the period of time, we sustained it. Food, I wear your clothes, I live in your house, a donkey. or the horse or the cow. I'm just livestock. And see, that was a different form of slavery. There's nowhere else in the history that I've seen of humanity where a people was thoroughly turned inside out, upside down, and robbed of a knowledge of self and their humanity. At least in other places, if you was a slave, you still was considered a human. You just was less than, or you from that tribe or whatever. But they didn't look at you as an animal or, like that you were less than human. You still was human. Okay, so where I was getting at. So basically, this nigga religion, it comes with a set of beliefs and practices and deities. One of the deities, like I pointed out, could be money, could be vanity, low desires, could be sex. Some people worship illicit sex and they'll do anything for it. There are men who pay great sums of money on a regular basis as in acts of devotions at the strip club or with prostitutes or getting certain chicks flued out, girls getting flued out and spending money in hotels. These are acts of devotions in the nigga religion. And in that case, the God is sex. Other people worship in the nigga religion the God of material possession. And some people will kill you. They'll rob their grandmother. They'll take from their brother, their own sisters, their father, just to get money. Fancy cars, fancy houses, airplanes, whatever. And they'll do anything for it. They'll sell their soul for it. A lot of these rap artists, these folks, some of them know the truth and they want to do one thing. They want to be conscious and speak the truth. But because of the money, and the money is God. So they are worshipers in the nigga religion, worshiping these material possessions, which to worship that instead of the true God or the true source of your origin, which is the God within and the God of the universe, connecting with that, you are dead mentally and spiritually when you worship material things. So it's a religion. You make sacrifices for that religion. You have acts of devotions. And you defend it. And you have an apologia. You have a theological doctrine in the nigga religion. One of the most dangerous, treacherous theological doctrines in the nigga religion is the thug life mantra and the teachings of thug life. And as much as we love our beloved brother Tupac Shakur, may Allah be pleased with the good that he did, one of the things that he did, he was an apostle in the nigga religion, where he promoted the thug life concept. And a lot of our young boys, especially in effort and in acts of devotion, they followed that teaching in the nigga religion and ended themselves up in jail. And that was by design. But I know, and I'm pretty sure, Tupac was a growing brother. He was very young, but he was growing. And he was seeing the problems in the society, and he was dissatisfied. So he had an acronym for thug life, from what I understand, that the thug life had a meaning. And it was, he was saying, since they calling us thugs and calling us niggas, and we gonna be that until we not. So I understand that he had a certain understanding. But the bottom line is the way it was used by people outside of our community. You see, the nigga religion is being curated and promoted by people who are outside of our community, who have a vested interest in our behaviors that stem from the psychosis created by the religion. See, the behaviors can always be reverse engineered to discover what the actual belief is. And remember, religion isn't what you say, it's what you do. So we can find out what you actually believe by looking at what you do. So if you're talking about shooting and killing black people, if you're calling sisters bitches and whores, and you not taking care of your responsibilities as a man, if you're doing all of that, then your religion is the nigger religion. And no matter what you say, that's your religion. So we won't be deceived because we can look at what you do. I don't care what you call yourself. I don't pay attention to the label. I pay attention to the actions. You know, in Islam, we try to be scientists. You know, we don't do abracadabra. We look at cause and effect. We study things from a cause and effect point of view. So if I look at your actions, it tells me a lot about what you believe. And everybody has a religion. I don't want to hear that, oh, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. Y'all use that like a James Bond eject button to get out of the responsibility when you want to do something. And so you justify it when you see. That's another aspect of the nigga religion. There's a lot of hotep nigga religion practitioners. You know, they say they spiritual, brothers and sisters say they spiritual, and they say they don't have no religion, but everything they do is based on a set of beliefs. They say that they know, none of us know everything. We all know some things and some know more than others, but we all have a religion. You may not have a name for it. I'm saying if it's separation from your true self, if it's alienated from God, it's the nigga religion. And the only other way, the only other religion there is obedience to God, submission, following the natural laws in submission to the laws of the creator that made you. Total alignment. So you can call it whatever you want. You can put whatever sticker on it, but that's what it is in its root. You're either obedient to the laws and work in harmony with the universe and the God that created it, or you go against it. So those are the two religions, ways of life. But you can call it what you want. You can put your own name on it. I'm not gonna call myself a Christian. I'm not gonna call myself a Muslim, a Jew. That's irrelevant. Because all of those names, once translated, they mean the same thing. When you call yourself a Muslim, it means one who obeys God's will. A Christian is supposed to follow Christ, right? Did Christ say, not my will be done, but thy Father's will be done, right? So a Christian is a Muslim, and a Muslim is a Christian if you practice in the religion. Now, if you're doing your own thing, the nigga religion, and you're not practicing what the prophets practice, then yeah. But the religion of God is only one religion, known by many names, because we have many languages, we have many cultures, we have many types of geography on this planet, and I'm sure on other planets. And so therefore, how the religion looks in your life may look differently than it does in my life, because I got my own experiences and things. The nigga religion is deadly, though. That's why I want to explain it. I want to begin to address the psychosis that comes out of that religion, because it's responsible for a lot of things that happen to our people. And why am I doing that? Because because I love our people, I want to separate the person from the behavior. Just because I want somebody to do that for me. I don't want people to summarize me and identify me with the bad things that I've done. I want them to forgive me for that stuff. I want you to know me and identify me by the good things that I've done and the right things that I've done. And for example, a person who was on drugs, maybe for a portion of their life, and then they overcome it and they're clean. Should they be treated as though they're still an addict? Now, I'm not saying they should go and be around the drugs that they used to use. Definitely shouldn't play games like that. But I'm saying once they've demonstrated that they're clean, they wasn't originally made a drug addict. It was conditions, circumstances. They were drug addict by circumstance and condition. But we are held responsible for what we do, even when we're in that condition. It's just that some of that responsibility rests in those who created the religion and those who curate the degenerative culture. See, a lot of our children who listen to these songs and say, kill a nigga, shoot a nigga, pop my trunk, I wish a nigga would. And all the songs in the rap, a lot of the rap music got that boom, 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 boom. And so in our subconscious mind, this is being rehearsed. So when we get in a high, intense moment, you know, where there's a lot of adrenaline, we leave our conscious mind and we go into our subconscious and we're acting on our instincts. And oftentimes this is what happens when the police shoots us. And notice some of these police that shoot us, they're not all white. Sometimes they're black, sometimes they're Asian, sometimes they're Hispanic, but they're suffering from the same psychosis that found in the nigga religion. A lot of these officers are listening to the same rap music that the young boys are listening to. So when they see one of us, they don't see a person, they see a nigga. They don't see a human being, they see a nigga. They don't see an Aboriginal indigenous person, they see a nigga. And so they treat you according to how niggas are treated in the theology, in the religion. We say niggas ain't shit. Bump that nigga. I'll bust my gun on that nigga. I pop my trunk. I wish a nigga would. So, and it's a belief. That's why I'm calling it a religion. And it's a system of belief. Because see, if a black man dressed in a nice suit may walk into Gucci store in the mall, and if he runs into a racist clerk, and the brother may be a millionaire, but she may look at him because he's black. You like any help? I'll show you something, and show him all the inexpensive stuff. But the brother might be able to buy the whole damn store. But we get treated like that. That's the nigga treatment. Y'all know the vibes. You done been in the store and the Asian brother followed you around. That's the nigga treatment because he's suffering from the nigga religion. You're getting the treatment, even if you are just a patronizing customer. They don't see a patronizing customer. They see a nigga. Now, the word is offensive to a lot of people. I'm not offended by it. Well, it depends who's using it and how they use it. Well, it don't matter who, but it depends on how you use it. And I know some of y'all, like I don't have no problem with white people use the word nigga. Nope. I don't have no problem because we use it for one. And even if we use it and we use it the wrong way, I'll be offended. So it depends how you saying it. Black people, now, let me just put this disclaimer out real quick. White folks, white brothers and sisters, friends and family that's watching this, don't you go out there and try to use it because everyone don't have the same understanding I have. If you say that word and you get your teeth knocked out, don't say, yo, bro, Tommie said it's cool for me to use the word nigga. No, I'm not saying that. Don't get yourself in trouble. What I'm suggesting is I'm saying that I don't have a problem with white people using it, Chinese people use it, because hip hop as a culture has spread the nigga religion so wide and far that it's a term, we use it as a term of endearment in some contexts, and in other contexts we use it to be offensive. And you can tell the difference. If a white dude say, oh man, that's my nigga, man, or he rapping a song and he just says nigga, he means it the way you mean it. Oh, that's my nigga. He means it the way you mean it. Now, if he says nigger, we all know the vibes. He don't mean it like that. He means to be offensive. So even if a black person tells me, can't stand you, old nasty nigga, I'm going to be just as offended as a white dude said it because of the tone and what the body language in his face. I know he means something offensive. So we know the difference. So I don't trip. It's just a word to me, but it describes something that's a real phenomenon. And see, the word nigga means spiritually, mentally dead. Let's keep remembering that. So let me kind of wrap this up. So the nigga religion, belief system, it's a faith-based, it's a type of faith that, well, people believe that it's okay to harm melanated skinned people in that religion. People believe that we don't feel pain. Did you know white doctors used to do and to this day, they experimented on black people, especially black women, have suffered medical malpractice because the doctors felt that our black people don't feel pain the way that others feel pain. That's a belief. That's a belief. That's not fact. We feel pain like everybody else. But the belief was that we didn't feel the pain. And they would do all kind of horrific experimentations on us. The police, when they see us, they just believe that we're the criminal, that we did something wrong. If Karen calls the police and we don't have it on camera, and Karen gets to talk to the police before we do, the belief that we're probably guilty of some crime will stand. Whole towns and villages, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street was burnt to the ground based on the belief of Karen. Some old raggedy, nasty Karen probably, too. Probably tried to holler at the brother, and the brother wasn't interested. So she said he raped her or touched her or looked at her or whistled. Whatever she says, because of the belief, the religion. It's a religion. That's why I'm calling it religion. It's a belief. And the God of that belief, sometimes the white man is the God in the nigga religion. The white man himself is a God of the nigga religion. And he made a bunch of niggas in his image and in his likeness. We might have black skin, but we think just like our oppressors. All right? Because he made us in his image and in his likeness. We speak in his language. We're wearing his clothes. Some of us even want to look like him. In Africa, one of the most popular products is skin bleaching. It's a damn shame. So this is what I'm talking about. And I'm going to continue with this series because this topic can go on. There's a lot of things. I'm just giving you a general overview of what I mean when you hear me start talking about the nigga religion. And I want you to look at it and think about it. And why, okay, I started to say, the reason why I'm looking at it this way, because I want to separate the behavior and address the psychosis as a condition. We are under psychological warfare. This is psychological warfare. So we got to be able to readily identify psychosis when we see it. My son was murdered by a neighbor of mine because my son, who was autistic, nonverbal, got in the backseat of his car. And after calling 911, instead of waiting for the police to come, he went and just opened up the back door and shot into my son over 20 times. A few shots with the AR-15. His girl came out, tried to stop him, screaming, no, no, no. He pushed her back into the house and came back out, shot another 5 or 6 times with the AR-15, dropped that, took his 9mm Glock out and shot another 10, 11 times into my son's body. Right up the street from my house. And murdered my son in cold blood. And then when the police, and then he stayed there and waited for the police. And of course, when the police got there, they recognized my son, arrested him immediately, and told him he made a big mistake. First of all, they told him on the 911 call, we up the street, we'll be right there. And they're wondering, why the hell are you shooting? You're safe. You got guns. You're in the house. The person's in the back seat. My son was in the back seat with headphones on, holding his iPod, listening to music. That's what autistic people like to do. They do weird things sometimes. It's part of my son's condition. And I understand to be alarmed when somebody's in your car or whatever. But in the nigga religion, that wasn't a person. It was a nigga in the back of my car. From the perspective of the nigga religion, the car, who my son wasn't trying to steal because he was in the back seat, the car is worth more than my son's life in a nigga religion because the God that's being served is the power of the gun, which gives satisfaction to the nigga holding it. I got my gun. I'm going to bust my gun. And it's been rehearsed in the music and in the movies and the video games. And this young brother that killed my son was 26 years old. I have another son his age. He threw his whole life away. He had small children. He was about to marry the girl who lived in the home with him. He threw his whole life away. Now he's about to do He was arrested immediately, and he's going to probably spend the rest of his life in prison, unfortunately, because of a nigga moment. He suffered from psychosis, is what I'm saying. And I'm saying that he ain't the only one, because today is my son. Yesterday was somebody else's child or daughter. Tomorrow it could be yours or you if we don't address the psychosis coming from the belief system or the nigga religion, as I call it. Interesting point, and I'll wrap this up. When the police was arresting him, and they were shocked because the police knew my son, and they were visibly emotional when they came to me, and they were very upset. I wonder if the brother made it to the police station intact, because you know how some of these folks are. But, and in this case, I probably wouldn't have mind. But the point is, they asked him, the detective said when he asked him, why'd you do it? Why'd you shoot him? The brother said, I don't know. I was just protecting my fiance and my sister who was in the house. And you know what? He probably don't know why he did it, because no one has explained to him, or he hasn't studied and understand the psychosis. He was told in the music and in the movies he watched that that's just a nigga. I can kill a nigga. Bust my gun. He felt empowered. He had a registered AR-15 assault rifle and a 9mm Glock. And I'm not saying this against gun owners, because there's a lot of responsible gun owners who have never done no crazy shit like that ever and would never. There are a lot of responsible gun owners out here. And it's a Second Amendment right that should be upheld. So I don't want this case to be used to take guns from people. We do need people to be trained, and we need to be careful on who we get the guns to, especially AR-15 assault rifle to a 26-year-old kid who ain't former military, not Army or nothing like that. That's a little bit more serious. But the bottom line is, it's not the guns that kill the people. It's the people with the guns, the mentality of the people. It's the psychosis. It's the religion, meaning the beliefs. If we don't address this and don't talk about this and address it from a therapeutic perspective, this will continue to happen. Again, like I said, today is my son. It was somebody else's yesterday. Could be yours tomorrow. So we have to address it. So thanks for listening. I know it was an hour. I appreciate you sitting with me. And I know I didn't get all the references. I'm going to be talking about this topic. I'll get more into it. But go in the Bible, Genesis, first couple of chapters, you'll see the reference where God told Adam, if he eat of this tree, he will surely die. And then look up the words. But think about what I'm saying. And let's start discussing the nigga religion. And let's start looking at it as a condition and a bad teaching. It's a bad doctrine. See, religion is doctrine. The nigga religion is bad doctrine that we've ingested, and it's making us all other than ourselves. And it's dividing the human family and calling us to fight and kill one another. So let's overthrow that. All right? Love you all who are righteous. I don't love the wicked. I don't love the wicked. I love the righteous. And may peace and blessings be upon you. Peace. Oh, don't forget to follow, like, share. I got to build this channel up. All right? Like, share, and discuss it. Come in the comment section next time. All right? And let's discuss it. All right. Peace.